All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and the glory and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Berachah Kodash, which I give me the spirit and the strength to do this lesson. And also give honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Wa Shalom, wa Barakim to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, which are scattered abroad, and at every place, redeeming the time and ready to be saved. Shalom. Alright. Now, in this lesson, I want to just, pretty much, discover, some significant, signs, all right, which indicates that America is through. All right. And, I was watching TV and also reading a little bit of my notes. And, the Spirit gave me this idea. All right. Now, a factor, all right, that's going to be one of the factors that's going to be a cause of this kingdom being deposed is the state of the economy. All right. Because the economy is been level, all right, and that's a great impact to Esau's empire, man. All right, that's causing them to lose in a major way. All right. And that's America, all right. Babylon the Great is following what happened, following the Roman, the Slaki. They're following the experience of the ancient Roman Empire. All right, when they had these issues, and what it led to the fall of the ancient Roman Empire, or the western part, 476 AD. All right. So I got this queued up on Google. All right. But before I go into that, I want to read this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. All right. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." I love that. All right. And you see, this is why it's so, this is why it's so important to know your history. All right. Now, you don't have to know everything. All right. But we should know about, the significant times that it transpired in the past. All right. Like the Great Depression. Okay. We should know about those great times. Those are great times, man. In the Great Depression, there was really the trouble for Esau, the Edomites, the so-called white people, because at that time, when you do your history, at that time, Jake, Israelites, so-called blacks, and so on and so forth. The so-called blacks was uh prospering. You go Black Wall Street, all right. Jake had it going on, all right. So now, that wasn't the last time that would happen. We're entering into another Great Depression, all right. And guess what? Now you have these Edomites, they suffering again, and they don't know how to handle it, all right. But like I said, that's why it's so important to know your history, because when you know your history, you know what's going to happen in the future. All right. This is how we know, because we have been given a secret. We know these scriptures, man. All right. I read that again. It says, Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. That's right. All right. So, just like, and you see, this is how we here to do. We're here to give you, we're here to help you see. All right. That's what we're here to help you see in the future. All right. Matter of fact, let me get Isaiah real quick. Let me see. Word description. No. Y'all bear with me for a minute. Okay, here we go. This is Isaiah 42, verse 7. It says, well, I start at 6. It says, I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness. All right. What is that righteousness? This word going out. All right. And you get that in Proverbs. It says, he that speaketh the truth showeth forth righteousness. All right. So this is how Yahweh Shemel Shah is calling. All right. It says, I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people. Now listen up. For a light of the Gentiles. For a light of the Gentiles. All right. So we're here to help you see. All right. And that light represents the truth. All right. We are the light. We are the illuminating ones. All right, the real illuminating ones. All right. We are the real illuminating ones. What did Yahweh Shah say? Ye are the light of the world. All right. That world is Israel. It's not. He wasn't talking about the whole world. No, he's really talking about the world of Israel, the elect. All right. And these Gentiles are Israelite foreigners. Okay. So once again, he says, he said, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles. All right. It says, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. That's right. So this is what we're here to do, man. You know, to help you notice the truth and what's about to happen, man. This is power right here, man. All right, this is truly power, spiritual power. You know. You know, in the world, it's known as having psychic powers. All right. And you know, Yahweh Shemel Shai has truly blessed us with that, man. Because we can see it. All right. We see what's finna happen. We see what's currently going on and what it's going to lead to. All right. And that's what you call being prudent. All right. So, because you know, got these people in the world, they throw around the word wise, but they really don't understand what being wise means. All right. In a spiritual sense. All right. The people, they think they're wise via spirituality or via their religion. All right. No, this is the true wisdom. This is true wisdom. This is true understanding, knowledge. All right. Because what did the scripture say? The wisdom of this world to the Most High is folly. All right. But let's get into this. What I got in Google. Because look, I said, did Rome fall because of the fall of the economy? And they answered with an AI overview, yes. Economic problems were a significant factor in the decline and eventual fall of the Roman Empire. That's right. And this America, Babylon the Great, is an extension of the ancient Roman Empire. Now, how do we know that? Look around, all right? You got your practices, all right? They the same practices, traditions, all right? You go back into the ancient Roman Empire. They had, you know, gladiator games, all right? The Olympics, you know, all that shit was in the Roman Empire, you know. The basketball, football, baseball, all that goes. That's Roman practice, man. All right. You know, and I can get into the, you know, for those of you that don't know, you know, you got your Colosseums. Look at the buildings of this place. Look at the building. Look how look at the building of the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol. All right. They're fashioned. You have a lot of these buildings that are fashioned like the ancient Roman buildings. All right. And I can go on, but that's another lesson for another time. All right. But this is an extension of the ancient Roman Empire. All right. And Esau, and at that time in the ancient Roman Empire, they thought that they were going to rule forever at that time. All right. Matter of fact, the Roman Empire was known as Eternal Rome, and it lasted for 800 years. All right. Well, you know what? Let me fact check that. I'll go back to this. Okay, I was right. It says, yes, the Roman civilization encompassing the kingdom, republic, and empire lasted for roughly 1,200 years. All right. So, yep, it's let me see. Okay, so it was from 800 to 1,200 years. Okay, but I was still, accurate. My judgment was still accurate. All right, but this, a little history. That's why I said, it's good to know your history, man. You gotta know some history. You got to. All right, and like I said, they thought that was gonna last forever, but look what happened to it. The western part of it, they fell by Jake, and Jake, rose. All right, and like we're reading here, one of the main significant factors of that fall was the fall of the economy, right? And are we not seeing the economy of this place being weakened? All right, because when you go back into 1944, that's when the U.S. currency became the U.S. dollar became the world currency. All right, and that's began the New World Order. All right, but you see now, the U.S. dollar, which from the 1940s, 1960s, 1970s, at that time they was the global currency that was dominating all others. But guess what? Not anymore. Currently, they're not. All right. And if you don't see that, then shit, you need some serious mental diagnose. All right. Because shit, man, you ain't even got to be in the truth to see that. All right. But the difference is when you're in the truth, you realize what's going to follow. This situation. All right. And let's go down here. Just get a little bit more detail. It said here's a more detailed look. It said economic instability. The Roman economy experienced significant instability, right? Marked by periods of inflation and currency devaluation. So that happened to Rome, all right? Remember, that's what led to their fall, all right? It said currency devaluation. Is that not what we're saying? That the U.S. dollar is being devalued, man, all right? It's being devalued. We are at the end of this. Look, America, they had their golden years, man. All right, from 1940s to the 1960s. All right, or even the 70s. That's right, even the 70s, and that's heavy because that's the time Abba Bivens came. One of our forefathers, Abba Bivens, man. And for those of you that don't know, that was Elijah, all right, coming back in the flesh. But that's the time when he came on the scene in the 1970s, which started this is when his place started to decline. Man, you can't make this up, man. All right. When Abba Bivens came on the scene, that's when this place started to decline. That's when this truth, man, because this word, man, people don't understand how powerful this truth is, man. This truth is what's weighing. Hey, what did Paul say? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. I ain't gonna quote it. I'm gonna get it. This I think it's in 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians. Let me see. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. It said, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal." That's right. "But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds." That's right. And is not America a stronghold? All right. So this is our weapons. Like Paul said, it's not, our weapons are not carnal. Our weapons of warfare are not carnal. Look, we don't need nuclear weapons, bombs, machine guns to tear this place down. No, we're doing it through this word, through these scriptures. All right. I'm reading it right here, man. So the reason why this place can't get up, the reason why they can't make America great again, because as long as this truth, as long as we out here, the prophets, beginning with Apostle Tahar on down, as long as we out here teaching this truth, it will never happen, man. Because we're combating against them with this truth, man. With the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. It can't nothing, and I mean nothing. All right, nothing can overpower that, man. So I'm reading that again. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High." That's right. You see? But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, right? So that's why I look, like the scriptures say in Isaiah 44, matter of fact, let me see. Isaiah 44, it says, verse 26, it says, "That confirmeth the word of his servant." That's right. And who is his servant? The prophets. All right. So when we say this place is going down, and we prophesying against this place, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he performs it. He executes that. All right? Because look, it's not our words, it's his word. And he's not a liar. He gonna back up everything he say. All right? So yeah, once again it says that confirmeth the word of his servant and performeth the counsel of his messengers. That's right. So y'all see men of the Lord out there on the streets. All right, big main chiefly great millstone. Look, that's the Lord that, you know, brought this thing together, man. Beginning with Abba Bivens, man. You know? That's why when you read about in Psalms, what is that? Psalms, the last chapter. All right, let's get that. Psalms, the last chapter, says, Psalms 149, verse 5, it says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Well, you know what? Let me read. Let's jump to verse 6. It says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth. That's right. And that's what you see us doing. All right? When we teaching this word, we out there on the highways and the byways. All right? That's the high praises of the Lord in our mouth. All right? It says, let the high praises of the Lord be in their mouth. And a two-edged sword in their hand. All right? Now we know it's speaking about, it's twofold. All right? You know, like the Apostle Tahar said, a lot of the scriptures are twofold. All right? You got your literal, you got your literal and your spiritual, or figuratively speaking, spoken, Salaki. All right. Now, spiritually, this is talking about the Bible. All right, because the scripture, this Bible is known as what? And in the book of Hebrews is known as what? A two-edged sword. All right. That's why you see brothers out there on the streets. They have this sword in their hand. All right. And what do you use a sword for? I'm going to read that again. It says, let the high praise of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. All right. What do you do with a two-edged sword? You tear down. You cut down. Whatever. All right. So it's not referring to as a sword for nothing. All right, it tell you in the book of Revelation that what's that one? He said that he had a sword that came out of his mouth. Why is it referring to that's a metaphor, a dark saying for this word? All right, why would the scriptures compare the scriptures to a sword if it's not doing any damage? All right, that's because it's damaging this place, man. We do damage with this word. All right. Hey, we do damage. We damage people. All right. And kingdoms. All right. Y'all see, they think it's a game. Let me get one more, man. Prophets ain't no joke. Y'all gonna realize that. For those of you that don't know. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter verse 9, chapter 1, verse 9. It said, then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. All right. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. All right. You see, proving once again that what we speak is not our own words, but it's the words of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. Once again, he said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms. That's right. To root out and to pull down. All right. Now, are we doing that literally or physically? No. I just read to you in 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, what Paul say, our weapons of warfare are not carnal, all right, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, all right. So, and we just read that we doing it with the words. I'm gonna read from verse 9 again. It says, "Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth, and the Lord said unto me, Behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down." You see that? Shit, man. See, look, man, the power that he hath bestowed upon us, man. Look, because we are out here on the streets. Because we are out here on the scene. This place is being shooken up and falling, man. All right. And let me say this too. You think the prophets went on the scene at the time of the ancient Roman Empire? Yes, they was. Most definitely was, man. They was on the scene prophesying against the empire at that time. And look what happened to it. All right. That's why Claudius, what is it when you go into the history? Claudius, one of the emperors, Salakia, damn, how many did he expel? I think it was like 40 to 50,000 Jakes, man, because of a disturbance. All right, and that was the prophets, man. Go do your history. All right, go look it up. All right, Claudius. The Claudius, he expelled 40 to 50,000 Israelites because of the disturbance. All right, and that's what we doing now. We disturbing this place with this truth, this word, with the prophecies. All right, that's why. What's that? Isaiah the 19th chapter, where it said that this burden of Egypt. All right, because that burden is the prophecy. All right, this prophecies that we are bringing forth. All right, is a burden unto this place, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it, man. It's fucking this place up. All right. So yeah, it says to root out, to pull down, and to destroy, and to throw down. All right. To build and to plant. All right. So yeah, this word is man, it's truth. Beginning with the Abba Bivens, all right, it's fucking this place up, man. And like I said, America had its run. It had its time, but that time is over. It's our time now. And we're seeing the kingdom of heaven being established. It ain't just it's happening now. We're in the beginning stages of the kingdom of heaven being established on the planet Earth. It's beginning with us. All right? You see the true man of the Lord out here? All right? Because you got to understand, these are the kings of the universe along with Yahweh Shai. All right? It starts with them. All right? Kingdom of heaven ain't just going to pop up. No, it's gradually being manifested. It's gonna become physical, all right? But the kingdom is starting. It's here now, man. All right. Look, the kingdom of heaven is here now. That's why this place is falling, because two kingdom be. We can't rule with Esau. What is that in the book of Amos? It said, can two walk together when they be in a disagreement? Roughly paraphrasing. No. All right. One has to. That's order. The scriptures say that he set it up kings and put it. He set it up one and put down another. All right. So while this kingdom is falling, we're rising, and it begins with him giving us this truth, the sword, the two-edged sword. Man, I hope I'm making a lot of sense, man, because this is hey, we in some exciting times, man. But yeah, this U.S. dollar is being devalued, all right? All right, and I want to say this too. In the declining of an empire, the rich will always squeeze the middle and the lower class, or also known as the working class. All right, and they do that by what? Inflations. Okay, and who are the rich? The high banking families, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Rockefellers, Gettys. All right, those are the rich. Okay, and that's what we seeing now. It's all about keeping them rich, man. Keeping the poor poor and keeping the rich rich. That's what it's all about. All right. So go over here. It says overspending. The empire's vast military and public works projects require significant financial resources, leading to high taxes and increased government spending. This overspending strained the empire's finances and contributed to economic hardship for many citizens. All right. Look, that's pretty much self-explanatory. We see that happening now, man. All right. And it says reliance on slave labor. The Roman economy was heavily dependent on slave labor. All right. Which nowadays and that's why we call it the plantations, right? Because we still in slavery, man. All right. The only difference is we're getting paid for it. Okay. But you see, that's why Esau. Look, they know their history too, man. They know what happened to the Roman Empire. They knew what the factors that led to its fall. See, that's why they know that they relied on slave labor. But you see, that's why you got Esau what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, exalting this fucking AI, man. Artificial intelligence. They putting these robots in the stores now, and they gonna take a lot of people's positions. All right. So Esau, the so-called white man trying to upset prophecy, but it ain't happening. Everything's going according to plan, man. All right. And that's all right. But it says the Roman economy heavily depended on slave labor, which discouraged technological innovation and left our agriculture vulnerable when the supply of slaves decreased. That's right. The supply of slaves decreased. Once again, and that's why they, putting these AI, these machines in these corporal jobs. All right, because you got today people are talking about leaving their job, quitting their jobs because they fed up. All right, you got the prophecy of these other nations leaving the country. All right, so you got Esau. I give it to them. They fighting back, man. They fighting. They trying to hang in there. All right, but they still gonna lose, man. All right, no matter how hard they try. It says taxations, high taxes intended to fund the empire expenses, further strained the economy and led to widespread dissatisfaction. Man. And you go back into the ancient Roman Empire, what was happening? You can read about that in the scriptures. All right, the Romans was taxing Jake, man, and Jake was pissed off about that shit. All right, they went to the Lord about it. And Yahushua told him, give to Caesar what is his. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. All right. So, like I said earlier, this place is doing nothing more but following the footsteps, so to speak, of Rome, the ancient Roman Empire. And they're going to go out the same way. All right? Well, not the same way, Shalaki, but they're catching, the same hell. All right? So, it says inflation and currency devaluation. The empire resorted to devaluing its currency to finance its expenses. Wow. Yeah, that's why they steady print money, printing this paper shit, which is devaluing it. All right? That's what's devaluing. They continue to print it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right? So once again, it says the empire resorted to devaluing its currency to finance its expenses. Yep, leading to inflation and economic instability. Merchants raised prices, and people began to barter instead of using coins. Said loss of confidence. The economic problems eroded public confidence in the government and contributed to social unrest. All right, social unrest. The loss of wealth by the elite, coupled with economic hardship for the majority, created a climate of instability. Right, so it says social unrest. And we see in the beginning stages of that. You got people coming on the social media, coming on YouTube left and right, Facebook, Instagram, complaining, all right, about what the fuck is going on, about, how prices are steady going up. It's hard to live, it's hard to eat, it's hard to, survive, all right? And it's going to get worse. Matter of fact, let's get the word on social unrest. It says social unrest refers to collective dissatisfaction and disruptions to the social order, often involving public expressions of anger and demands for change. That's right. Now let's get an image of it. You see that? All right. And this is all the plan of Yahweh Shema Shai. See, y'all got to understand that he's the master chess player. All right? Matter of fact, let me get that in Isaiah 19. Because before this fall, the fall of this place, there would be no unity here, right? Kingdom against kingdom, like Yahweh Shah said, man. We saw the beginning. We saw that when they ransacked the capital, man. This place ain't united. The United States. This place is not united. All right, and we're gonna see that fully in the days to come. All right. Let me see Isaiah. Isaiah 19, verse 2, it says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." That's right. And the Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians, is the Edomites. All right. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother," right? "And every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." Right? That's the division of this place, man. All right, that's what we see right here. Look. This is what we see right here, man. Let me read that again. It says, city against city, America against America, all right? Or, you know, in all the states in America, that is. All right, it says city against city and kingdom against kingdom. That's right. And what did Yahweh Shah say? What did Yahweh Shah say? Matter of fact, slacking. Yeah, slack. Yep. Well, like Yahweh Shah said, this is Mark chapter 3, verse 24. He said, "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand." That's right. Read that again. "And if a kingdom be divided against itself," like we seeing on here, "that kingdom cannot stand." That's right. "And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself," we just read that in Isaiah the 19th chapter. He said, "I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." All right. He says, and if Satan, who is Satan? They are the physical part. The Edomites, they are the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. All right. So it said, "And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end." But hath an end. All right. So, and once again, this happened in the ancient Roman Empire. All right. They became divided. There was no unity. Right. And that led to the western part of the empire to fall. All right. So yeah, man, Lord willing, that's edifying. Until next time, shalom.